Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reniker, Justin Shawls, Kenny Mack, and Josh Hall. We all dogs!
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh Hall, your host on a Sunday morning here, and Cleveland Browns football is officially back. Week 2 of Browns training camp wrapped up. I'm going to go through a recap here, break some things down for you guys. But the reason that Cleveland Browns football is back in full swing is because we've got drama. Oh my goodness. If you've been following along, things got freaking weird yesterday at Saturday's practice, and there's been a lot of speculation and controversy following the practice, and things got even more weird here this morning. So I'm going to go through all of that for you guys here. We'll talk about the quarterback situation first, because obviously when you talk Cleveland Browns drama, that goes hand in hand with quarterback competition. You cannot have one without the other. So we will start there. That's where we're going to, focus primarily. But I want to go after that. There's so much more to talk about with this team, with what's going on in training camp. I want to go position by position, give you guys some updates just from the week. Justin and myself, we actually went to training camp on Thursday. So we were there, boots on the ground, watching the team, learning everything. I got some cool stories from that day as well. So we'll go through that. And I just want to bring you guys everything that I know, everything I've collected from training camp over the last week, and, get in the comments. We'll dissect some of this stuff here together. Before I do, this is it, guys. Today, Sunday, August 9th, this is the last day that you can sign up and register to play fantasy football with us this year. So if you want to play fantasy, and I recommend it, if you're even a little bit interested, it's going to be a ton of fun. It always is. JoinTheDogs.com. Sign up for the Patreon. The very top post is the link to the fantasy football registration. And if you sign up today, I will personally be sending you a message with that link and the instructions on how to register, so you don't need to worry. Sign up today. JoinTheDogs.com today, and you will be in our fantasy football leagues as long as you submit a registration. Anything submitted after today, starting tomorrow on Monday, I'm sorry, you missed the deadline. But please, get in today. Don't wait. It's going to be a ton of fun. And as you guys will probably hear an ad read later in the show, we got a draft guide that you guys can purchase. It's only $7.99 through draftdaydudes.com. Promo code DOGS. Get you 20% off that $7.99 draft guide. I've had people already purchase it, and they told me, look, it is very in-depth. It's very easy to follow, understand, and read, and it's really good for beginners or people that just don't follow the NFL news all year long the way a lot of us do. Well, I shouldn't even say a lot. The way some of us do. Some of us absolute degenerates follow this, news cycle every single day. But, if you don't know who, the top wide receiver sleepers are for this year, or the, best value picks, or the guys that look like busts to the fantasy football community, this draft guide will help you. So that is draftdaydudes.com, promo code DOGS, DAWGS, and jointhedogs.com to get into our fantasy leagues. Come on, play with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. Okay, quarterback drama in Cleveland. So I don't have notes or an outline prepared here. So kind of like last week, I'll probably be just rattling off some thoughts and random things throughout. But what happened specifically yesterday? No, let's not start there. Let's go back to Thursday, because Thursday I was at training camp. Me and Justin went up. We went and took my dad. We had a great time up there at Browns training camp. And just by happen chance, we sat right next to the Browns film breakdown crew. So Jake Burns, Brad Ward sat right next to us in the stands. So we sat there and we talked with them the entire practice, bounced some ideas off of them. They asked us some questions, and we just kind of collaborated right there in the stands. So one thing I can tell you guys from talking to Jake, now Jake and Brad have been at training camp all week. So they've been to every single practice. And I'm picking their brain because I trust their evaluation. If you guys don't follow Browns Film Breakdown, go check them out. They've got a podcast. They've got a Substack you can subscribe to. It's really great stuff. Their focus is the film. What does the tape say? So they're talking to us, and we're asking them, obviously, the quarterback questions. How's Shedeur looked? How's Deshaun looked? Dylan, all this stuff. And they said the same thing that we've been told by other people and what we actually saw that day. Shedeur Sanders has been the better quarterback of the three, and he's easily been the most consistent. From practice to practice, he's been the most consistent. And I believe that based on what I saw with my own eyes, and I believe that because that's what Jake and Brad told us as well, and they've been there every day evaluating this whole situation. So they said, now Deshaun Watson has had some days where he's looked better than others, and every day at practice he's made some plays that look really nice, that are like, wow, that was a nice play. That was a nice throw. But they both said wildly inconsistent. Just like Zach Jackson's been saying from training camp, Watson will make a throw that just makes you say, wow, there it is. Followed by a whole string of throws that go, what the was that? And I can attest. We saw that at training camp on Thursday. Watson had a couple throws here and there, man, where it was just like, wow, that was a dart. Like, that's it. That is that arm talent that obviously everybody always liked about Deshaun Watson, the player. And then you would see some throws right after that. And I remember looking at Justin like, what was that, bro? I don't know. There was one throw in particular. It was in a one-on-one session. And I don't even know who he was throwing to. The receiver ran a route toward the sideline, and he threw the ball so far behind. It went behind the receiver and the DB. Like, both guys turned and looked back like, where's he throwing? Rough stuff. Really rough stuff. So that's the breakdown there. Dylan Gabriel, I don't know where the whole Dylan Gabriel narrative came from earlier in camp. He looks terrible. I'm not, you guys, obviously, if you follow the show, you watch and listen, we're not big Dylan Gabriel fans here. We're not ever saying like, he's got a chance to be the guy. No, he doesn't. And watching him at camp, he doesn't. First of all, I know they got him listed like 5'11" or something. He's small. Okay. And I'm not saying any of this to be mean. I want you guys to hear me out here. He's very, very small. And like, do you ever throw a football around with your kid, or ever see like a little kid try to throw a football that's just too big for him, and they have to like kind of balance it on their hand. They have to like, really put everything into it to get it to go where they're trying to throw it to. That's what it's like watching Dylan Gabriel on an NFL field. I'm not kidding. It looks like a struggle. It really does. So I don't know, guys. And if it's pre-snap processing, lining up at the line of scrimmage, calling out protections, whatever. Like, if he's really good at that, that's great. But I am way more concerned with what a quarterback does after the snap than I am before the snap, because you can do everything right before the snap. That's wonderful. If you can't do anything after the snap, who cares? None of that matters. If you can't throw the ball, if you can't make the play, if you can't read the defense, any of that stuff, nothing before the snap matters. So all this cadence talk, all this pre-snap procedural stuff, okay, it's important. I'm not sitting here telling you it's not important, but Tony Grossi's telling you, and everybody who will listen to him, which probably isn't very many people anymore, that is the only thing that matters. And I'm telling you, it is not the only thing that matters. What you do after the snap matters more than what you do before the snap. It just does. If you can't play the game of football when the clock is ticking, who cares? Who cares? Anyhow, so that was kind of the quarterback takeaway from camp. But the reason I wanted to start on Thursday with this whole assessment is because Thursday was the first day, and we were excited. We're like, hey, after a Wednesday practice where the team was just in helmets and shells, no pads, no hitting or anything like that, Thursday was back to pads, and it was going to be Shedeur Sanders Day with the first team. So me and Justin obviously were like, this is going to be great. Let's go up here. Let's see how this looks. And then there was a session of 7-on-7s where Deshaun Watson was with the first team offense for the entire session. It wasn't like he took 5 reps and then Shedeur came in, took 5 reps, and then went to the second team. It was the whole set, that entire drill was Deshaun Watson with the first team. And then it was Dillon Gabriel with the 2s. And we're going, okay, we're not at camp every day watching these things on a play-by-play basis. Let's ask Jake and Brad. What do you guys, is this normal? They do this yesterday or the day before? No. Jake was like, no, he said this is noteworthy. He's just sitting there like, yeah, they haven't done this before. This is weird. So on a day, because leading up to this point, every day that whichever quarterback was scheduled to be with the first team, they took all the first team reps. All 7-on-7s, all 11-on-11s. They were the first team quarterback. Thursday was the first time that didn't happen. Now, there was I think Todd Monken made a comment maybe the next day or something about that. He was asked about it. And he said there was a session earlier in the week where Deshaun was the first team quarterback, but Shedeur took first team reps in a 7-on-7 drill or something to that nature. Like, no, this isn't the first time we've done that. We did it earlier in the week. Jake and Brad said that's not true. They said that Thursday was the first time that happened. So now it's like, okay, did you guys just miss something while you were up here watching these practices? Or is Todd Monken lying or just not being totally truthful about this? And again, I'm not saying, please guys, don't jump on me in the comments. I'm not sitting here disparaging Todd Monken in this episode or trying to say anything. I'm just giving you guys a brief recap of what's going on this week. So then the reason it's like, well, is Todd Monken not being truthful is because of what happened yesterday. So we get to Saturday, right? So Friday, camp is closed to the public. Storms in Berea, they move, so nobody's allowed to go except for the media, and they're indoors. And Friday was strictly, or so it seemed, deep passing work. So it was just deep throws down the field. Saturday, and Friday was Deshaun Watson's day with the first team, I guess is what I was trying to say there. Saturday, obviously, Shedeur's day, following the quarterback rotation here. And before practice, Todd Monken's asked by the media, something about Shedeur taking the first team reps today. And he said, Deshaun Watson might get a series or a few reps with the first team in a 7-on-7, but today will be Shedeur's day with the first team. Like, he's the first team QB1 today. Okay, that's what we expected. Then the camp reports start flowing. Deshaun Watson's taking all the first team reps here. And then as the day goes on, Shedeur Sanders hasn't taken any first team reps yet. It's supposed to be his day. Shedeur Sanders is splitting second team reps with Dillon Gabriel. And we're all going, what is going on here? Very strange. So very strange day. So it was supposed to be Shedeur Sanders' day with the first team yesterday on Saturday. And instead, Deshaun Watson took every single rep with the first team. And another weird thing, like I just mentioned, all camp to this point, if you were the first team quarterback, you took all the first team quarterback reps. And if it was your day with the second team, you took all the second team reps. Yesterday was the first time the second team quarterback, who apparently was Shedeur, even though it shouldn't have been, he ended up splitting those second team reps with Dillon Gabriel. Okay. Weird, just weird. And then, of course, it's the last day of camp for the week. Today, Sunday, they're off. We don't get to talk to or ask Todd Monken any questions until Monday. How convenient, right? So all this stuff happens. A team spokesperson then apparently issues a statement to the media after practice. Guys, help me out in the comments here, and maybe I'm just too focused on what's happening right now and I'm just not remembering years past. Have we ever had to have a Browns team spokesperson issue an official statement about something from a training camp practice? I was like, we're getting statements from a team spokesperson right now about this is weird. So to me, it just felt really bizarre. And the statement said that Todd Monken wanted to see Deshaun. Wow, there I go. Boy, what a celebrity couple name there. Deshaun Watson. Monken wanted to see Deshaun Watson with different personnel groupings, which is why he ended up taking all the first team reps instead of Shedeur Sanders. Okay. And I read that and I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, okay, well, they're just trying to, at least they're explaining what we saw today. No big deal? Maybe not. Honestly, it makes no sense to me. If you wanted to see Deshaun Watson with different personnel groupings, receivers, O-line, what have you, wouldn't you think Todd Monken would have been planning that going into practice? You only get 16, okay? 16 padded practices in training camp. That's it. 16 days you're allowed to practice in pads with contact before the NFL season starts. That's not a lot, guys. Okay? Anybody, we played football back in the day. You remember two-a-days, like in high school and stuff like that? Yeah. How many? We did like 2 or 3 weeks of two-a-days. So if you do 2 weeks of two-a-days, that's 20 padded practices right there. So these guys are only allowed to do 60. You guys like how I had to stop on my mental math there? Oh, man, it's early. Anyhow, so 16 padded practices. And you really think that Todd Monken went into one of those without a plan? No, I don't buy that for a second. So, and the different personnel groupings, he's seen Deshaun Watson with all these personnel groupings. The only difference yesterday is Tevin Jenkins finally came back to practice. We'll get to the offensive line here in a little bit. He's worked with all these receivers in different rotations before, on the second team, on the first team. He's worked with this offensive line before, whether it was back in OTAs or now in training camp. To me, that didn't seem like a legitimate reason to give him a 100% of the first team reps. If you give him a couple series or even just split them down the middle, maybe it's a little more, likely to be the truth. I'm just not sure that's it. So anyway, that was the official statement. And then we get obviously all the speculation, and I put out a short video last night and I'm thinking, okay, this would have been Shedeur Sanders' third padded practice. This week, Deshaun Watson only had one padded practice as the first team quarterback. This whole week, the other 2 days that Watson was the first team quarterback, they weren't wearing pads. You guys can read into that however you want. So it's like, okay, well, maybe they're just trying to even it up, give Shedeur 2 days with the ones and Deshaun 2 days with the ones. Or, saw some speculation, maybe Shedeur had a little bit of arm soreness, or maybe he was just injured or something. Maybe they were just trying to reduce his reps, manage his workload until, next week, just get him through the weekend here. Plausible. We had a situation last year in camp where he had arm soreness, right? Or something like that, where he took some time off from camp. But if that were the case, you would have thought the official statement would have said that. And then the QB tracker comes out. Well, Shedeur Sanders took 20 reps yesterday, so it's not an injury thing. Okay, if it's workload management, it doesn't matter if you're taking reps with the 1s, 2s, 3s. Reps are reps on your shoulder. So if it were anything injury related or fatigue, he wouldn't have taken 20 reps yesterday. Very strange. And then today. So we get to today. This is where the big bombshell comes. Mary Kay Cabot, of course, you can leave it to her. She'll produce these things, but wrote an article, and a team source, or I don't know, I'm assuming it's a team source, but told her the following. She wrote, quote, "As it turns out, Deshaun Watson knew right after the walkthrough at about noon that he was going with the ones on Saturday. And that was 45 minutes before Todd Monken told the media that Shedeur Sanders was still the day 10 QB1. So while Todd Monken is telling the media and us that yes, today's still, it's Shedeur's day with the first team. We might see a little bit of Deshaun mixed in there, but it's Shedeur's day. As he's telling us that, Deshaun Watson already knows that he's taking all the first team reps that day. How does that happen? How does the quarterback know that this is happening? Monken doesn't know, or Monken just didn't want to tell us. I'm not trying to go down conspiracy theory avenue with you guys. What I'm taking away from a lot of this is these are the type of things that give the Cleveland Browns the reputation of being a dysfunctional organization. This miscommunication, these conflicting reports, does the coach not know what he's doing? Is the coach lying to us? Is somebody else making the decision? Did Jimmy Haslam make the call? Now you get all this crap that we all have to speculate about. And honestly, I can't just automatically say, this one's off the table. We've seen stuff like this before. We've seen ownership meddle in coaching decisions. We've seen, GMs override the coach and make a decision here and there about, especially this quarterback position over the years. So it's not like it hasn't happened before. So I guess that's another thing I want to reiterate here. I know we have a lot of long-time listeners to the show. I love you guys. We have a lot of long-time, diehard, lifelong Browns fans watching this right now. I love you guys. We have a lot of brand new Browns fans. Whether you're new to the fan base for Shedeur or you're new to the fan base for any other reason, we love you guys. Welcome to the fan base. But if you're new to the fan base, you do not have the historical trauma that the rest of us do of what has gone on with this team over decades, okay? So there's history there. I'm not going to go through it right now. I'll save that for another episode. That's going to be a long one too. But there's history of this type of stuff happening with the Cleveland Browns. That's why it makes it so noteworthy and so freaking weird about everything that's going on. Now, tomorrow's Monday. We'll get Todd Monken at the podium. He's going to be asked about this. We'll see what he says. This episode is sponsored by Kalshi. All right, Browns fans, we've all messed around with the sports books before, right? And let's be honest, you're always kind of playing against the house. But with Kalshi, it's different. You're not betting against some sports book. You're trading against other real-world people. There's no house trying to beat you. Kalshi just runs the marketplace. So if you think the public is wrong and the Browns can make the playoffs in Todd Monken's first year, or Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, one of those guys can win Offensive Rookie of the Year, you can take the other side of the market, and then if you're right, that's a big payout for you. And it's not just sports either. You can trade on other real-world stuff, interest rates, inflation, even wild weather outcomes. It works like this. Simple yes or no markets, your risk is capped up front, and your payout is locked in. So if you trust your takes and instincts, and I know you guys do, go check out Kalshi and see what markets are live right now. So use our link in the description or just head over to kalshi.com/dogs, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, to earn up to $500 when you trade 25. Kalshi, because why shouldn't you guys get paid for being right?
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, Alumagard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
When we've reached our limits of adulting, it's easy to long for simpler times, like enjoying Saturday morning cartoons without a care in the world, or savoring every last drop of sugary milk at the bottom of your cereal bowl. Well, Kachava's new Cinnamon French Toast all-in-one nutrition shake gives you all the nostalgic feels and benefits. Made with real cinnamon bark for the richest, deepest, most authentic flavor. Just 2 scoops provide the complete nutrition your body craves with protein, fiber, greens, and more. It's an easy upgrade to your daily wellness ritual. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the highest quality ingredients that taste delicious. Adulting may not always be fun, but at least you can stock up on treats without asking your parents for permission. So whether you're kickstarting your morning or fueling your afternoon, treat yourself to a sip of nostalgia. Go to Kachava.com and use code NEWS for 15% off your first order. That's Kachava, Kachava.com, code NEWS.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
I think he said before practice the coaches are going to take all the rest of the weekend, yesterday, today, and tomorrow morning to decide who's going to be the QB1 for the first preseason game next Saturday in Chicago. And I'm telling you guys right now, that quarterback will be Deshaun Watson. Okay? Nothing about what this team has done in the past week has indicated in any way, shape, or form that it's going to be Shedeur Sanders. So, actions over words. You said it was going to be Shedeur Sanders' day with the first team. You gave every first team rep to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson will be the quarterback starting against the Bears in Chicago on Saturday. Whether they make that announcement tomorrow on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever the hell they do make it, that will be the announcement. I think you're going to see Deshaun Watson take the bulk of first team reps all this coming week. And then we will see how things balance out after that. Is this a preseason week one decision, or have they already made a predetermined move that Deshaun Watson will be the QB1 week one in Jacksonville, which is just 5 weeks away, by the way, folks. We don't have a whole lot of time left before the regular season is here and these live bullets are flying. So that's how I see things right now. I believe that's the direction they're going. And like I was alluding to there for a second, what they do after the Chicago game is what's going to be interesting to me, because you can already read the tea leaves. It's Deshaun Watson, preseason week one in Chicago on the road. Kind of makes sense. I don't think you want to roll him out there in your first preseason game at home. You know what's going to happen. So the order of things makes sense, but starting a week from tomorrow, the Monday following the Bears game, does Shedeur Sanders take the bulk of first team reps? Are they getting him ready to start the game at home against the Bills? Or will it still be Deshaun Watson primarily taking those first team reps? If that's the case, then you're getting your indication that he's slated to be the week one starter. So you can kind of tell. Don't worry about what Todd Monken or any of the other coaches, Mike Bajakian, don't worry about what these guys say to the media. Watch what they do at practice, watch the moves they make, and watch the division of reps and how they're preparing guys in practice. That's what we need to pay attention to in the following week. So let me know what you guys think about this whole quarterback situation. It's not surprising that there's quarterback drama in Cleveland. There always is. It's disappointing because I do speak for everybody on this podcast. We're all in lockstep about the quarterback situation. It makes zero sense to play Deshaun Watson this year. No sense whatsoever. Even if Shedeur Sanders wasn't on the team, okay? I need people to understand this. Even if Shedeur wasn't here, the last time we saw Deshaun Watson play football, he was awful. Okay, and you can sit there and say, well, Shedeur was bad last year, blah, blah, blah. There is a major difference between a rookie playing on the worst offense I've ever watched and I guess at the time, 7-year veteran, former 3-time Pro Bowler getting paid $230 million to play quarterback for this team. There's a difference between those two situations. The $230 million quarterback should not suck. but he did, and he does. And there's not one fiber in my being that believes he can be a good quarterback in the NFL anymore. Maybe he proves me wrong. That's fine. If he does, I'll sit here and give him credit. If it happens. Just not planning on it. But you guys let me know what you think. I really feel like the Browns are making a mistake here. I said this to Justin the other day, and he totally agreed. I said, at the time we liked the move to go get a Pro Bowl top 5 quarterback in the league. That's what Deshaun Watson was at the time when we made that trade, or at least that's what he was perceived to be. That guy was already gone, but we didn't know that. But you ruined your relationship and potential with Baker Mayfield. So a potential franchise quarterback, we can have that debate if he would have turned into one or not. I'm not here for that today. I'm just saying you ruined that one for Deshaun Watson. And now you're going to ruin another potential answer at the position with Shedeur Sanders for Deshaun Watson. So you're going to use Deshaun Watson to ruin whatever chance you might have with 2 other quarterbacks. And I just think it's really stupid, but whatever. You guys let me know what you think. I know there's people out there that still believe in Deshaun or still like him. I don't know if that's because you actually think he's good or because you just really don't like Shedeur. It's tough to say. There's some people that it's definitely the latter. You just hate Shedeur, and that's why you're all about Deshaun. But I think a lot of us who were around in 2024 and 23 and 22, we know how this is going to go if they make Watson the week 1 starter. But I'm done with my doom and gloom. I don't want to talk about the quarterback situation anymore. That's the update, and we will fill you guys in as the week goes on. But as it stands, just to recap, pretty sure, I think you could probably place your bets now. Deshaun Watson will be starting next Saturday in Chicago against the Bears. I would venture to guess that he'll be the week 1 starter as well in Jacksonville. But we'll see how it goes. Moving on, got a lot of other camp notes, and I want to talk about other players, obviously, on this team. So let's just move position to position. Running back, okay? Quinshon Judkins looks great. You guys know, back in the offseason, I was very skeptical that Judkins would be. I was skeptical he was even going to be like a full participant in training camp, maybe for the first couple weeks. I figured maybe right about now, mid-August, maybe about that second preseason game, he might be cleared for full participation after that injury last year. The dude was a full participant all OTAs. So no restrictions, no limitations here in training camp. Looks amazing, okay? And I watched him with my own eyes up there. The clips are great. You can see it from the clips, but watching him, the dude's fast. And seeing him down on the field up close, wow. The dude is rocked up, man. This guy is massive. Quinshon Judkins, it's kind of like if you took Derrick Henry, you know how just big and just monstrous Derrick Henry is, right? So take that and shrink it down a little bit, because no one's that big as Derrick Henry, but shrink it down a little bit to, your prototypical running back size. But then add the speed and the shiftiness that is, I don't want to say like Bijan Robinson levels, but maybe in that school of ability. Quinshon looks great. So I hope I'm not hyping him up too much, but I was impressed with him as a rookie. Despite the poor offensive line, no blocking. If we can get offensive line playing again, I will get to the line here in a minute. Quinshon could have a huge year. He looks good. So for everybody asking, how about Quinshon? How's the running backs look? Quinshon Judkins looks phenomenal. Dylan Sampson, another just speedster. Fast, man. Both of these guys, I think they're going to both be utilized in the passing game. You've seen it at practice. They're both catching passes. They're both not just, screens or checkdowns, but also running routes out of the backfield and getting, targeted, catching the ball well. I think it's going to be a lot better utilization than what we saw under Stefanski last year. I think Todd Monken and this offensive staff actually have an idea of how to get Dylan Sampson involved and use him to the full of his potential. I'm excited for that. After those two guys, Amani Marshall looks to be, to me, in my assessment, from what I've read, from what I've seen in camp clips and what I saw actually when I was there, I think Amani Marshall might have a leg up right now for the RB3 over Rocket Sanders. Now, am I confident in that? No. I think both guys have looked good. Both guys have been utilized up and down, whether it's with the third team offense, second, and they've gotten run with the ones too. Both guys, Marshall and Rocket Sanders. So they both look good. I've seen some plays where Rocket has dropped some passes. Not like contested stuff, like stuff that hits him in the hands and then he just doesn't bring it in. Like in the hands and the chest, not outstretched. Like you need to catch that pass. I don't know. I feel like Amani Marshall might be that guy. He might be the RB3 for this year. The fullback situation is interesting because the Browns, and we signed a fullback specifically to play the position, Michael Burton, this offseason. He's been out at least this whole week. I can't remember if he was out all of last week, but so for the second week of training camp here, we have not had Michael Burton, the fullback. Instead, Carson Ryan, the 7th round tight end we drafted, has been playing fullback. He doesn't look half bad back there either. I think that he is a tough-nosed, willing blocker. He loves the contact, and he's good at catching passes as well. So Carson Ryan might be on this 53-man roster, listed as a tight end, but probably primarily playing fullback. So that's an interesting one to keep an eye on as well. We'll see. Maybe Michael Burton comes back from his injury or whatever he's dealing with this coming week. We'll see. And as I go through this, obviously I got a lot of injury things to talk about, but I don't have specifics because this team, nobody in training camp is required to disclose injuries to you. All we know is that said player was not on the field. So injuries are more assumed. Like, well, we assume this guy has an injury because he's not out here. Like you got a tight end like Joe Royer. I mean, I guess we can just talk about tight ends real quick. We'll just go right into that. Joe Royer, 5th round pick out of Cincinnati. Dude hasn't been to camp yet. He's dealing with a personal situation. If you guys have any information on that, let me know in the comments. Justin thought he had heard some, I don't want to call them reports, more like rumors or some speculation maybe about what Joe Royer's dealing with right now. I don't want to talk about it because I haven't dived into it myself. So I don't want to give you guys misleading information on that. But let me know what you guys think is going on with Joe Royer. The fact that the big thing here is to know he's not there. He's not practicing. He's not at camp. We don't know when he's coming back. This doesn't look good for Joe Royer. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to get cut. I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't look this up either, and I should. I think there's a situation where if a player does not report to camp, there's a specific did not report list that the team can put him on rather than just outright cutting him. His contract would still be property of the Browns. I think in that situation, the player might actually have to apply for reinstatement and get approved by the league then before they can come back to practice. But I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with Joe Royer. We're keeping tabs on that. Let you guys know if he gets back to practice. Harold Fannin Jr., I don't need to talk too much about him. Looks freaking awesome. He is going to be this trio. This young trio. Actually, I don't even want to say trio. It's a quad. This quad core of Harold Fannin Jr., Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, and Isaiah Bond. I don't know if I don't want to overhype because we haven't seen them in real games and we know how things go for the Browns historically. And sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves on some players. That group of 4 young players right there could be a very, very legit group of guys in the NFL over the next few years. I'm excited about that group. Harold Fannin catches everything. He's always open. He's always making plays every day. We know that he's just a man among boys on the field. And, if you need 5 yards to the sticks, throw 2 yards to Fannin, he's going to get you 7. That's just what he does. So the tight end position, and then you've got guys like Jack Stoll, Blake Whiteheart, who I haven't heard anything about Blake Whiteheart at practice so far through 2 weeks. I don't even know if I saw him out there Thursday. I mean, I know he's been there because he's not listed on any missing reports, but yeah, I can't tell you guys much about Blake Whiteheart. I know Jack Stoll's been out there. He's okay. He's a blocking specific tight end. He's not been very good, obviously, in passing plays, which was to be expected. And then, are there any other tight ends I'm missing? Tight end is a position on offense that I think we could run into some trouble. Because, like we've talked about a ton, Harold Fannin Jr. is not your prototypical, traditional, inline blocking tight end. He is a all-around offensive weapon. Put him in the slot, put him out wide, your X, Y, Z. I don't care. Put him anywhere you want to. You can put him in line, but he's not a great blocker. You can put him in the backfield. You can, whatever you want to do, you can do. But we still need that more traditional tight, especially if we're going to run a lot of 12 or 13 personnel under Todd Monken. Who else is playing tight end? We talked about Carson Ryan. I'm starting to get the feeling that he is going to make the roster, and that is largely due to Michael Burton not practicing and Joe Royer not being here. I had Joe Royer pegged as the tight end 2 for this team. I don't know now because he's not here. It's really worrisome. So Katie Mack's been kind of pounding the table for this, and I think he might be absolutely spot on. They're going to need to bring in somebody, a free agent, or make a trade or something for a tight end because we're kind of limited there right now. A position I'm not concerned about whatsoever right now. Wide receiver, and it feels so good to be able to say that after the last couple of years going, especially last year, saying, we're an injury away from, about an injury away from Jamari Thrash being our wide receiver 1. That was disgusting to think about a year ago from right now. Jamari Thrash, by the way, no longer with the team. Well, okay. Technically, he is with the team. They waived him earlier this week with an injury designation. He left practice earlier in the week with a knee injury. Now, I forget how this even works, but he's been brought back onto the Browns injured list. So he's going to be out for the whole season. But they must still be retaining the rights to his contract, which isn't it the final year of his deal? Or maybe this is year 3. I don't even care because he's not that good. And he wasn't going to make the team anyway, I don't think. Maybe practice squad again, like last year. But so he's out for the year. We don't need to worry about Jamari Thrash. Casey Concepcion, this dude is making acrobatic, outstanding highlight catches every single day of camp. Stuff that you would not think that he should be able to catch. Just climbing the ladder as high as he can go, bringing down catches. They're getting him the ball on quick slants, crossers, end arounds. He looks so freaking good. I want you guys to understand. I know, and I'll talk about Denzel Boston in a minute. Denzel Boston gets the majority of the highlight clips from camp because he's just that big physical dude, and he mosses people, and he is awesome in his own right. Don't get me wrong here. I love Denzel Boston. Casey, yeah, man, he's it. I think he's that guy. I do. I thought he was that guy in the pre-draft process, and I still think he's that guy after watching him at camp and everything that he's been able to do. The whole drop pass situation and that concern from college has not, I want you guys to hear me, the drops issue has not followed him into training camp. He has caught everything. Low passes, high passes, passes in his breadbasket. He's catching everything. So is Denzel Boston. I think Boston has had 1 or 2 drops all of camp. He catches everything, and he's that big body guy that can just pluck the ball out of the air. He's going to beat your DB one-on-one. The complementary skill set of those 2 players is going to benefit this team so much for years to come, and I'm excited about Boston and KC. Dropping passes, yep, that has continued for Jerry Jeudy. Tons of drop passes. All camp. Every day. I think he had 2 really nice practices back-to-back on Thursday and Friday this past week. But before that, there were days where, I'm reading posts from Zach Jackson, Daryl Reuter, and they're like, there's another drop for Judy. Judy couldn't haul that one in. Another drop. Yesterday, Saturday, more drops for Judy. Like, I saw a clip. Cam White, shout out Cam White, Route Universe 9. It was a touchdown pass. Watson threw it right to Judy, right in his hands. He's running the quick out, the speed out to the sideline, and he turns, the ball goes right through his hands. Just drops it. And it's like, I'm done, man. I'm so done with Jerry Judy. But thankfully, we have not just Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. We got Isaiah Bond too, and he's been a highlight reel at camp. The deep target. And the thing is, I know he's been working on doing everything else, the short area, the intermediate area, and all that. But man, what this guy can do deep down the field along the sideline, bringing in deep. Isaiah Bond is awesome too. So I'm very excited about our wide receiver core. Right now, if I had to give you guys my prediction on how the wide receiver room shapes out for the 53-man roster here in a couple weeks, when it's all said and done to start the season, those 4 guys obviously will be on your roster. Tylan Wallace is your 5th guy. Tylan Wallace will be on the Browns 53-man roster. I think that's pretty much a lock because he's running with the ones. We all know what he can do in the special team area, but he has been running with the first team, the veteran wide receiver. He's been making plays out there too. It's not like he's just there because of seniority. Like, he's actually making plays. So I think Todd Monken trusts him, and you want a little bit more. You don't want your entire wide receiver room to be first and second year guys. You need a little veteran presence there as well. And I think they really like what Tylan Wallace brings both on and off the field. So he's a lock. If I had to bet right now, I would say the 6th, if they only keep 6, the 6th guy is going to be Gage Larvidan. He is running with the ones and 2s, but a lot of time with the ones. He's been making plays. He's had some drops. He's had some plays that, it's like, hey, you need to complete that. But again, we're talking 5th or 6th receiver on the depth chart. So I think it's Gage Larvidan, because of what he can offer you in the return game as well on special teams and obviously as a receiver. Luke Floria, the Kent State guy, you remember last training camp preseason, Luke Floria was on fire. Luke Floria was lighting it up. He had that sick one-handed grab against the Panthers from Shador down the sideline. Just awesome little player. And I say little because he's a smaller receiver, but he is freaking tough, guys. He picked up right where he left off. Remember, he had the hamstring injury, kind of the same thing with Jamari Thrash. They put him onto that injured list or whatever. He was out for the whole year because of that, but he's back. And back to Jamari Thrash. The knee injury I read was not serious. It's just it was enough for them to waive him with a designation and then put him on that list. Luke Floria, he's in the conversation. Let's just put it that way, because he's catching everything. Now, he's not your Gage Larvidan can get downfield a little better. He's a little more of a deep threat all across the field kind of player. But, man, Luke Floria seems to be a little bit more reliable when it comes to catching the ball. So we'll see how that shakes out. As far as the other receivers go, Cole Wilson, I think he's probably a practice squad guy. Aaron Anderson got waived with an injury designation, so he's gone. I'm trying to think if there's... of course there's somebody else we need to talk about, Cedric Tillman. I don't think Cedric Tillman is making the team. Nah, he's your third string receiver right now. He's running with the 3s primarily. The only time I saw him mixed in with the 1s or the 2s was either a 7-on-7 or like in the individual drills where they're just rotating reps and it's just kind of next man up. You step up. I don't even know who the receiver and the DB are. That you just line up 2 guys and go run your route and you do your thing. That's been it for Cedric Tillman. He was scout team, special teams for the first period of practice on Thursday. I looked at Justin. I said, I think he's cut, bro. And he's like, yeah, I think so. So I think we can probably forget about Tillman. Maybe he makes the roster. Maybe I'm totally dead wrong about that. Again, actions over words. The actions right now do not indicate that this team is anywhat interested in keeping Cedric Tillman around. Offensive line. Let's spend some time there because then we'll just go over to the defense after that. This episode is sponsored by Dash Dog Food. Browns fans, Butcher Box for Pets has rebranded to Dash Dog Food. Same great products, same great company, just a new name, a new brand, but with that comes an even better deal for you guys. Now you can get 60% off your first subscription order of the premium slow cooked nutrition dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Just go to dashdogfood.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS. As you guys know, we're the dogs, but let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. And they're not just pets, like I said, they're part of the family. So the question is, what are you actually feeding them? At Dash Dog Food, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain 0 artificial flavors or preservatives. You get protein-packed formula that includes pre- and postbiotics to support your dog's vitality and their digestion. And speaking of the benefits of Dash Dog Food, Dash delivers their high-quality food right to your door. So just choose the delivery schedule you need for your dog, and you can change, modify, or pause your plan at any time. So try it out today. Your dog will love you for upgrading their meal times. dashdogfood.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS to get 60, not 50, but now 60% off your first subscription order of the premium slow cooked nutrition fresh dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Minimum purchase of $34, 60% discount applies to subscription orders only. One use per customer. Cancel at any time. Browns fans, if you're looking for a great fantasy football draft guide, we've got the answer for you. We just teamed up with Draft Day Dudes for their 2026 fantasy football draft guide. And the best part, it's just $7.99. It updates free every week until kickoff. So go to draftdaydudes.com, use code DOGS, DAWGS, to get yourself 20% off the best fantasy football draft guide. And what I like best about this draft guide, they use tier-based ranking, not just a standard rank list, so you can see where are the talent cliffs at each position when you're actually on the clock. They've got tiered big boards for standard, PPR, Superflex, plus their positional ranking, sleepers, busts, and the rookie class. So don't wait. Fantasy drafts are coming fast. Go to draftdaydudes.com. Use code DOGS, DAWGS, to get 20% off the Draft Day Dudes Fantasy Football Draft Guide, just $7.99, plus you get 20% off with code DOGS at checkout. Offensive line concerns me. They concern me because I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. They don't seem to have a plan yet. They don't seem to be any closer to a starting 5 than when they started camp. 2 weeks in, I was really hoping we'd have some more answers, and we've got more questions now, it seems, than we do answers, because Spencer Fano, your 9th overall pick, who we drafted to play left tackle, has been rotating daily with DeJuan Jones, with the first and second team back and forth. So it's either been DeJuan Jones or it's been Spencer Fano, who is playing left tackle. And then they're saying, well, Spencer Fano's not ready for the season at left tackle. Then we know we can start DeJuan Jones there. So is Spencer Fano not as far along as we were thinking he is? Are they going to start DeJuan? That's another question, not an answer. Zion Johnson's locked into your left guard. Elgton Jenkins, who has kind of been slated to play center, missed all week until the last day and a half or whatever when he finally came back from injury. So he hasn't been at practice. Parker Brailsford's not at practice. He's not out there right now because he's got a wrist brace. Something happened to his right wrist. They said he was taking practice snaps on the sideline the other day with his left hand. I don't know what is going on at the center position, but that's a concern. I mean, we think it's probably going to be Elgton Jenkins, but at the same time, remember, guys, he's coming off a season-ending injury from last year as well. So health is, it's an issue. It's a big question mark. And then you got right guard. What the are we doing at right guard? We don't have any idea. Tevin Jenkins was kind of slated again to kind of be that right guard, at least at the top. He was rotating each day, kind of like at the left tackle spot at right guard. They were rotating Tevin Jenkins one day. The next day it would be KT Leviston. Well, Tevin Jenkins missed the vast majority, I believe, of OTAs. He had an injury. He wasn't out there. We opened training camp last week, so it's him and KT rotating day to day. Boom, this week. No Tevin Jenkins. He's injured again. He's off the field, not at practice. And it's like, how can you possibly be competing for a starting spot if you're not on the practice field? So Tevin Jenkins finally came back yesterday, and he went immediately right into the right guard spot because they were already talking about KT Leviston at right guard and saying, maybe we take Titus Howard from right tackle and put him at right guard, move DeJuan Jones over to right tackle, and put Spencer Fano at left tackle. It's a mess. They don't know what they're doing. And I'm not saying it's that they don't the coaching staff doesn't know what they're doing. I'm saying that the players are not claiming these spots like we were hoping. That is a concern. Preseason's going to tell the story. We'll see how these guys look on the field. But I know like Jake Burns was big on KT Leviston playing right guard because he's much more suited for that position than he is being at the tackle spot on the edge of the line. And he's very good in the run game. Now, I will tell you guys this, because a lot of people have asked, well, how's the run game look? How's the run blocking look? It's really hard to tell in camp. It's really hard to tell. One, because from where we're sitting at practice on the sideline, you can't really see how they're getting out into space for the run game. You can just see it from the side, so it's very hard to evaluate. And two, a lot of times they're just not going full go. So it's hard to tell, well, did the running back just get stopped behind the line, or was that actually a 5-yard gain? Like, I don't know. It's tough, guys. It's really tough to tell. I will say this. I noticed on Thursday that KT Leviston was not looking very good in pass protection. I saw him get beat quite a few times. You know, we had interior defensive linemen, which, by the way, we don't have any right now. We'll get to that. But the guys who were on the interior defensive line, they're in the backfield. They're in the quarterback's face. And guess who's standing there going like this after they got beat? KT Leviston, 72. You can see the number, wide and clear. He has turned sideways. He has been beat by his man. I don't know what they're going to do on the line, guys. I don't know. We got Jaguars in 5 weeks from today. They better get it freaking figured out. So really, the only guy that I think is set and determined is Zion Johnson at left guard. I think Elgton Jenkins is 98% going to be your center. There was a lot of hope that Parker Brailsford could maybe grow into that starting center spot, claim it, come out and show that he can be that guy. Let Elgton Jenkins play the right guard spot. I don't think that's going to happen. So who's playing left tackle between DeWand and Fano? Who's playing right tackle? Are they going to move Titus Howard into right guard? Who knows? We'll see. Again, maybe I'm a little ahead of myself here. You guys let me know in the comments. Am I being too pessimistic about the O-line? It's only been 2 weeks of camp. I get it. Okay. I just was really, there's so much about this season, about this offensive, about the optimism, the quarterback, the receivers I just talked about, the running game, Quinshawn. Everything hinges on the offensive line. And for us to be 2 weeks into camp with more questions than answers at this point concerns me a lot. And we're riding up there, actually both times, riding up and riding back from training camp. Justin looked at me twice and said, "Bro, I'm very concerned about the O-line." That's not my best Justin impersonation, but that was it. Like, this O-line is scaring the crap out of me because we just don't know. So there's your O-line update. I'm sorry it's not more positive, but I also don't want to sugarcoat things for you guys. This is what the situation looks like right now. Defense. Let's talk about that. I just alluded to it. We'll start in the interior because that's where the situation really looks a little bit scary. Our entire defensive tackle room is off to the sideline. Nobody's practicing right now. So Mason Graham missed all week of practice except for he finally came back. I think yesterday was his day back. Maybe, was it Friday? I can't remember if he came back Friday or if it was just on Saturday. But either way, he missed the vast majority of the week with an injury. Undisclosed injury. We have no idea what these guys are dealing with again because they don't tell us. So Mason Graham was out, but he's finally back. So that's good. Malik Collins is still on PUP. We have no idea when Malik Collins is coming back. If he's going to come back at any point during camp, will he be back for week 1? Will they have to put him on whatever list? He'll be out till week 4. We don't know what the timeline looks like for Malik Collins. So that one concerns me. Mike Hall Jr., first week of training camp, looked great. He's fast off the line. He's, this could be the Mike Hall breakout season. We saw all these reports. Out all week 2. Hasn't practiced at all with an injury. That is the freaking story of his career for Mike Hall Jr. Just unavailable, which makes you unreliable. So that one, he's out. We signed Kalia Davis, free agent from the 49ers this offseason, as a good rotational defensive tackle, a nice, big-size run-stopping guy. He's not practicing. He's out. He left the first day of training camp last week, I believe it was, with an injury. He hasn't been back since. Sam Kamara, your former UDFA practice squad guy who's been with the team for a few years now, he got carted off the other day. He's out. Like, good God. I guess, speaking of carted off, going back to the offensive line real quick, Zach Zinner got carted off the other day. So he's out. Not that we were hoping for much from Zach Zinner, but he was the second team right guard. That's where he was repping so far in camp. Just like Mike Hall, and that sucks because they were the same draft class, our second and third round pick. Mike Hall Jr., Zach Zinner, both of them. Unavailable and unreliable. Just sucks. Just sucks the life out of what you're trying to do with your roster. Back to the D-line, though. So that's Elijah Chapman is a defensive tackle we signed in the offseason. Was he a UFL guy or CFL? I can't remember. Maybe not. Maybe I got that mixed up with somebody else. He was out for a lot of the week. And one day it was Aiden Huntington, not Aiden Hutchinson. I made that mistake on a short video. Thank you guys out there who corrected me. Slip of the tongue. Aiden Huntington and Elijah Chapman were the first team defensive tackles for a couple days of practice. Not going to cut it. So, needless to say, I do not have an optimistic report for you guys about the interior of our defensive line. Concerns the crap out of me. It has this entire time. If you've watched anything with me and Kenny talking about stuff, defensive tackle and cornerback have been the two positions we're like, are we going to do anything here? Because it's not looking good. And that was when everybody was healthy. Bad. Defensive ends look great. Okay? Jared Verse, stud. Always in the backfield. Like, he has been dominating training camp. He's been giving some very high-quality reps to Spencer Fano. So much so that yesterday at practice, they got in a fight. They got in a fight. They're getting a situation where Jared Verse is just taunting Fano, and then when the offense gets Jared Verse to jump off sides, Fano's taunting him. The competitive nature, and I don't want you guys to hear me say that as a bad thing. These are two high-level competitors, young athletes trying to develop and grow, playing against each other every day, every rep. And it's hot at camp right now, like stupid hot. Tempers are high, flaring, emotions are up. Like they finally took each other to the ground. Got back up. It was all cool. Lined back up the very next play and went back at it. So Jared Verse has been every bit the driving motor, the leader that this defense really did need on that defensive line. So that's good news for Jared Verse. Alex Wright on the other side has looked like a freaking menace. Alex Wright, this dude looks like he's leveling up. Now, it is training camp. And the defense, one thing to remember, the defense is always ahead of the offense early in training camp. I mean, they're definitely ahead of the offense. And I think we have a very good defense. I think that our defense, I said this the other day on a short video, I think they got a chance to be better than they were last year. Blake has been saying that for months. I know we lost Myles Garrett, but now we've got a different D coordinator who's bringing a different energy to this team. And I'll talk about that more with the secondary here in a minute, but this defensive front, especially on the edges, Isaiah McGuire's been looking good. I saw a clip the other day. People say Shedeur Sanders holds on the ball too long and can't process post-snap. Of course, it's ESPN Cleveland, which, I'll tell you guys something about that here in a minute. I would say don't let me forget, but I'm talking to myself right now, so I can't really do that. What was I saying? ESPN Cleveland. Deshaun Watson. Okay, so there was a play where he's rolling out and he's like pump faking this, pump faking that. Isaiah McGuire sacked him twice on the play. Because you can clearly see in the clip, 57, Isaiah McGuire just hands up, stop back because he's not going to lay into the quarterback. Deshaun Watson still takes another 2 steps around back there, even after that would-be sack. Finally throws the ball. They're like, oh, Casey Concepcion, highlight catch. I'm like, yeah, I guess it was a good play. It was sacked. But, so ESPN Cleveland. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm going long. Tony Grossi. So funny. We're sitting in the stands watching camp the other day, and we're watching, you see all the media guys. If you've been there, I mean, it's not like stands aren't very big. We're looking down the sideline. We're looking at all the different media people. And there's Tony Grossi and Chops. That's your ESPN Cleveland crew, by the way. Tony Grossi and Chops. Yeehaw, Chops, who is bros with Deshaun Watson. Tony Grossi, at one point, this is 11-on-11 team drills. So the team is, say they're right here on the field. We're watching them, and they're going this way toward the end zone. If you guys are just listening on audio, this is really, really great for you. Tony Grossi, down here, I'm not kidding, on the sideline, looking around the stands. He looked lost. We're like, what is he doing? He's not even watching them. He's not even watching the practice. First of all, even if he was watching the field, he wouldn't have even been able to see the plays. He was so far behind. Like, you wouldn't have been able to see past all the players lined up behind the play. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know who's writing his content or who's taking the notes for him, but it's not him. Or at least on Thursday it wasn't. My goodness. Anyway, okay, back to the players. I'm sorry. I thought you guys would enjoy a little personal observation of Mr. Tony Grossi, who still has us blocked on Twitter. I love it. I'm going to say my favorite position for last. So let's talk about linebacker real quick. Linebackers look good. Carson Schlesinger has not been practicing. It sucks, but there's a difference between players who need to be on the field, getting reps, getting work, and getting better. And then there's players that I'm not even concerned the least bit about. And Carson's one of those guys. He's going to be a stud, whether he's practicing right now. So he's got a minor injury he's dealing with, not practicing. Quincy Williams, he's a fiery little SOB, man. He is going to be all over the field. And I think he's going to be in the backfield a lot. I think they're going to use him on blitzing, and I'm excited for Quincy Williams. And then it's Easton Mascarenas Arnold is your first linebacker up. He has been running in place of Carson Schlesinger as the green dot, as the main Mike linebacker. So Easton Mascarenas, and he looks good. He looks very good. UDFA from last season. So Andrew Berry he's had some good luck with these UDFAs the last few years. And Easton Mascarenas Arnold looks like he's the next one. And then after that, I think you got Justin Jefferson, the rookie, 5th-round rookie out of Alabama. I think he's coming along. I don't think that he's going to be, in the rotation on defense, at least for the first part of the season. I think you're going to see him primarily on special teams, and that's fine. We got Carson, we got Quincy, we got EMA. So there's Easton Mascarenas Arnold, EMA, and then you got Emmanuel McNeil Warren, EMW. So we like our hyphenated long freaking names here in Cleveland. So linebackers, I'm not concerned about. I think that's a good group of players that, and Winston Reed. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot about it. Winston Reed, another UDFA from 2 years ago out of Weber State. Winston Reed's a dog, man. I like our linebackers. I really do. I know a lot of people in the offseason said we need to address linebacker. I think we're good. I think we're really good at linebacker. Cornerback. Okay. Well, let's just talk secondary in general, because I can go positive, negative here. Cornerback. Your top two guys, Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, elite. That's an elite duo of cornerbacks right there. They are dogs. That is awesome. That is a fantastic CB1 and CB2. After that, it ain't looking good. Miles Harden is the hopeful cornerback 3 right now, playing a lot of the nickel, and the guy that they hope slots into the number 3 spot. Miles Harden. And, you've been around for the last few years. It hadn't looked pretty when Miles Harden's been in coverage. Not that he's a bad player, because there have obviously been plays that have, he's done well. But if you're going to find a guy in the secondary to pick on, it's going to be him. So that concerns me. And after him, I don't know. Miles Bryant is sidelined with an injury. He hasn't practiced all week. Michael Coates Jr. has been playing well, but he's primarily running with the 3s, the UDFA out of West Virginia. I have not heard, seen, read anything about any other corners other than D'Angelo Ross and Trey Avery they might be those guys that we're relying on in case of injury for this roster, which just, man, it concerns me. Cornerback concerns me the same way defensive tackle depth really concerns me. But the part of the secondary, I'm going to end the show on this. Part of the secondary that you guys should be freaking excited about is our safeties. Safety looks fantastic. Grant Delpit's playing a lot of deep safety. I saw that at practice the other day. He was back deep a ton. He's been making play after play after play all camp. He looks so good. He's such a versatile player. He can play up close to the line of scrimmage. He can rush the passer. You can send him on a blitz. He can play in the box. He can play run support. He can play back deep. He can play center field. The dude is amazing. I'm so glad we extended him and locked him up. Ronnie Hickman, I think that he's probably next in line for an extension here, maybe a 2-year extension with the Browns. So I think they're going to come to something with him. He looks good. Obviously, we know that he had a great season last year. Very under the radar statistically for this defense. And then the rookie, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, EMW. He missed all of OTAs. We need to keep that in mind when we're talking about EMW. A lot of people, and again, I get it. You're not following super close like we are and have to. And you're not at camp. So thank you for asking the questions. And again, I see a lot of the questions. How's EMW look? How's the rookie looking? Is he coming along? Is he playing with the first team? EMW missed all of OTAs with a minor injury. So we don't know what it was. But he wasn't out there. So training camp here, these last 2 weeks are the first time he's really gotten consistent, significant run with his team, primarily with the second team, mixing in a little bit with the ones, starting to make some plays now. Starting to make some plays in team drills and moving in with the ones, rotating in. They're starting to use more of these 3 safety looks, which we're anticipating more of this year. And he's looking good. And one thing I will tell you guys is he is fast. This guy can move and cover space like a human being shouldn't be able to do. If you guys saw the clip where it was just a one-on-one rep. It wasn't like a team drill or anything, but Shedor's trying to throw I don't know if it was a curl or an out or something to, I don't remember who the receiver was. And people want to knock on Shedor for the throw. I mean, he threw it on a rope. EMW was 10 yards off the receiver. And in the time it took from the throw to get from Shedor's hand to the receiver, he covered that 10 yards, laid out, and was able to knock the ball away. That was impressive. That was very impressive. So I'm excited, EMW, and what makes me... So the top 3 safeties there make me very excited for the safety room. But it's the depth at safety that makes me love this unit probably the most of any on defense. Donovan McMillan, UDFA from last year, looks legit. I think he's leading the team in interceptions in camp. By the way, this secondary has, what is it now? 18, 19, 20? Somewhere around there. Turnovers, interceptions through 2 weeks of camp. And that's not an indictment on the quarterbacks. This secondary is good. Okay? Mike Rutenberg was the defensive passing game coordinator focusing on the secondary last year for the Falcons, and they were, I believe, 5th. They had the 5th highest turnovers in the NFL last year. He's brought that my ball, go get the ball, turn it over mentality to this defense, and it is showing in our secondary. It is awesome, and Donovan McMillan's a huge part of that. So if any of the top 3 guys have to miss time or they come out for a series because they're tired or they tweaked an ankle or whatever, and Donovan McMillan is coming in, I don't feel like we're going to miss a beat. I feel like he is that dude, and I'm excited about that. And you got Daniel Thomas behind that. I think that we have very good depth at safety, and that's what makes me think safety is probably my favorite position on defense right now for this team. I'm very excited. So that's it, guys. I hear that we might have a punter battle. I'll get into more of that later this week. Justin was talking to me about that. I didn't really look a whole lot up of who Corey Bajorquez is punting against. I don't even know the kid's name, but apparently he's making it a competition, and I wasn't expecting that. Andre Schmidt looks good. And I think our special teams is going to be, can't be a whole lot worse than last year as far as coverage and return. But that's it. Training camp, week 2 in the books. The first 2 weeks were, all the offensive installs are done. That was finished this week. Everything is in place. Now it is just all about practicing. And this coming week, we'll be preparing for the preseason week 1 game in Chicago against the Bears on Saturday at 1 o'clock. So we'll see how it goes, guys. But let me know your thoughts and everything about anything I talked about here, anything I missed, anything you don't think I covered, or anything I was wrong about, whatever. Just let me know in the comments. We'll get to it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We got our first game preview coming up this week. That's going to be exciting. We'll preview that preseason game against the Bears. And then after the Bears, I'm not sure if we'll do it Saturday or Sunday, but we'll do our first recap episode of the season. Football's finally here, and I'm excited, even though there's this controversy with the quarterbacks and there's this drama and I just don't know what's going on with the offensive line. Hey, football's back, and at least I'm excited about that. So I appreciate you guys. Again, if you want to play fantasy football, the clock is ticking, guys. Don't wait. It's today. JoinTheDogs.com. Sign up. Submit your registration. Don't miss out on the season. Make sure you guys go to DraftDayDudes.com. Promo code DOGS, DAWGS. Get 20% off this $7.99 draft day guide for your fantasy football drafts. Whether you're playing with us or you're just playing with your friends, your family, at work, whatever. If you want to have more information and more knowledge than the other people, if you want to actually try to go win that league this year, go check out this draft guide. It's $7.99. Again, you get 20% off of that. So whatever that comes out to, you're getting a great deal for a document that is updated weekly, gives you tier-based rankings on all the positions. And if you don't know what tier-based rankings means, just go look it up. I don't have time to explain all that stuff. I'm trying to wrap this thing up, but it's a better way of drafting than just going by your list of who's the next available player overall. So go check it out. That's a great resource for you guys as well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you guys. I think we're doing a live Tuesday night, but again, like I said, we've got a preview show, recap show, so I'm not sure what the schedule is going to look like, but obviously more episodes to come here this week as training camp continues on in week 3. Love you guys. Thank you guys. Go Browns.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Follow us on social media at the Dogs Podcast. And join our dog pack community at jointhedogs.com. We are dogs!
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 U.S.-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.